This is Robert Mailing here with the Sioux Empire Podcast, and I'm here with Theresa Stehly, who's running for at-large city council seat for the city of Sioux Falls. Theresa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Robert, I've been a resident of Sioux Falls for 35 years. I teach voice lessons at the University of Sioux Falls, USF. I teach private piano. I've been a choir director for about 28 years in my church. So it's very musically involved. And I've been a gardening instructor through the Sioux Falls School District. I'm very big into organic gardening. And I have been involved with activism for the citizens as well.
Well, excellent. Why don't we go ahead and we'll jump right into your activism a little bit. One of my bullet points here is that people at City Hall have called you the Petition Queen of Sioux Falls. You want to share a little bit about how you got that title and some of your initiatives that you've worked on?
Yes, I have done a lot of petitioning. I've helped people with issues, and my own, the last one I had was the Snowgate petition drive. I started bringing up the issue of snowgates about 8 years ago and did research in Bismarck, North Dakota, where they're using those successfully, and continued to talk about them, and had a lot of resistance from city officials. And so finally it came to the point where I took it to the citizens. In 2013, we did our drive, got 8,400 signatures. It was fabulous. And we put it to a vote, and it won by a landslide. And so this is the second year that they've been using the snow gates, which for the listeners, they are the apparatus that keeps the snow out of the driveways. It's a wonderful service for our people.
Excellent. The next thing I'm going to ask you about is that I see you've won the Spirit of Dakota Award. I didn't get far enough into the research here on my phone here real quick, but tell me a little bit about the award. I know of that award. I'm from the Huron area originally, so I'm quite familiar with the ceremony and everything, so I'd love to hear about it.
Well, I was nominated by a woman that I taught with over 30 years ago in Eureka. She was our home ec teacher, and out of the blue, she sent me the information that she had nominated me, and there's a series of, yes, it was so wonderful. And so she got references from different people and rounded things up, and it's an award given to a woman who shows courage and in the pioneer spirit, and steps out for her community and for others. And it was just fabulous. And one of the things the women who Governor Dugard's wife was one of the people on the selection committee, but they said that they were impressed with the Snowgate work and just my willingness to step out and stand up for what I believe in.
Next thing I'm going to ask you about is Kermit Stehly. You know, he's the one of the current at-large members of the city council, and he has endorsed you for this election. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Robert, Kermit Stehly has been a dear friend of mine for many years. He's been a legislator and my city council member for 20 years. And I have been so inspired by this man, by his integrity, his willingness to help the average citizen. And he's always there for people. So when he told me on February 10th he wasn't going to be running again for health reasons, I pondered that for several days, and I was so saddened that we were going to lose that perspective on the council that I decided to throw my hat into the race. So I was a latecomer into this. I had to get 200 signatures in 9 days. I got 720. I had people stepping up to help. And so it's been a wonderful journey, and I'm so happy to be able to carry forth the energy that Kermit had on the council of caring for citizens and working for the common good for the community.
One of the things that a lot of my listeners have been asking about is recreational spending in Sioux Falls. Do you care to comment a little bit about the Sioux Falls' current status with recreational spending? And
I'm assuming you're meaning spending of the second penny for different amenities.
Is the Denny Sanford Premier Center, there was an aquatic center, so some of those things. What's your...
Well, and this is another thing I said as a citizen, and I've been saying this publicly now as a candidate, but I think we need to have more people on the council who are going to be taking a little closer look at what we've been spending on. We have a new indoor aquatic center. We have the Denny Sanford Premier Center. These are all being paid for out of the second penny. Second penny initially was passed for street maintenance, infrastructure, and that's one of my points on my platform is putting more energy into the streets. And I will tell you that years ago they resurfaced my street, and it is like gold. It is in such pristine shape, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, why can't every street in Sioux Falls have that quality? And it doesn't. So I think we need to be looking at how we're allocating these funds. Am I against the bike trails? Am I against the River Greenway? No, but I think we've been able to spend on whatever we've wanted, and I just think it's prudent to step back and look at those things and make sure that we're saving enough for the important things as well, the less showy things, shall we say.
Kind of keeping in the same vein of spending, what are your thoughts on city spending on things like infrastructure, and in particular this city administration building that will be coming up for a vote shortly? Well,
and I understand that vote is going to be not to go forward with that right now. I know the mayor is putting a lot of pressure on the council to go forward because he said that they've already spent $100,000 in consultants. And that's, let me just say, having watched this city politics evolve, I think we spend way too much money on studies and consultants, and just because we've spent that $100,000 on whatever doesn't mean that we're committed to throwing in $20 million more for this project. And let's go back to you asked about infrastructure. One of the things that I watched play out was in 2011, they started raising our water and sewer rates. And we used to have big ticket items like sewer collapses come out of the second penny. And then the city decided, well, let's build up an enterprise fund. And so they raised our rates so they could have this savings account, so to speak, for rainy day disasters. And as I talk with citizens, they are really concerned and somewhat upset about having this huge rate increase in our utility bills. And that water and sewer are our basic necessities. You know, you can't tell people to do without. So we're doing so well. I say, why can't our city be more generous to its citizens and make affordable living possible? In every sense of the word.
Another topic that a lot of listeners have asked about is crime and public safety in Sioux Falls. Care to share your thoughts on that topic?
Robert, back in, I believe it was 1997, I started a neighborhood watch group in my area. That program had been highly publicized and supported by our city. And by starting that association, we have picnics, we know each other. I think it has to start at home. We have to know our neighbors and care for one another. We can't put it all on the police to take care of that. And so when I'm elected, if I'm elected, I would, and I've been saying it as a citizen too, let's develop more of these neighborhood watch programs and help people to be cognizant of what's happening in the neighborhoods. But I'm also a strong advocate for a really healthy police force. I think we need to be funding that adequately, police and fire, because we are a growing city. And we're going to have some real issues to deal with the diversity that we have in our community. So we have to find ways of reaching out and connecting, caring for each other, and letting the crime element know that we're watching. And, you know, we're not going to tolerate that activity in our community. And, Robert, one more thing I wanted to say to your listeners. I'm encouraging people to do early voting. It starts March 28th at the courthouse. You can vote at your leisure starting that Monday, March 28th, until the day before the elections, which would be April 11th. And I say that because on April 12th, our election day, they are changing the voting locations again. Every election, we're playing musical chairs. People go here, then they go there. We can go anywhere. And it just creates confusion. I've been a superintendent at St. Mark's Lutheran several years. We have people come in who were told to go to the wrong place, and they end up just going home. And I don't want anyone's anyone to lose their vote. So I'm saying vote early.
One last thing before you go. Do you have any websites or social media or anything like that you'd like to tell people about and how they can learn more about you?
Yes, my website is www.stehly, which is my name, Stehly, 2016.org. And Robert, I'm running a grassroots campaign. I don't know if you saw the Argus Leader article on Tuesday, but it's a kind of a David and Goliath story. And so if anyone would like to donate to my campaign, they can go to my website to see information about that. But we're involving a lot of citizens. It's an exciting journey. And thank God for democracy.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.